Hi and welcome to Guitar Lessons Kinsale videos on YouTube. This is the first video, and in this video it's basically for anybody who's never ever picked up the guitar or played a guitar, and it's just going to show you a few basic techniques to make sure that when you start learning to play chords that to get them to sound nice and clear like this. There's no vibrating or buzzing, and every note is ringing clearly. And for this, over the years of teaching students, I've found three pitfalls people keep falling into. The first one being is that you need to press on the string with the tip of your finger, and not anywhere along here. The second point kind of locks in with this, because if you're doing the first and the second one, they work together. And the second one being is that you need to have a kind of curve or an arch in your fingers, not to have them flat when you're pressing down. So basically, if I take a chord of C here, this is how you play it properly. So you notice each string rings out clearly. So if I take, I can keep the finger on the tip, but if I flatten them, what tends to happen is that the finger now is resting against these other strings, and it's going to mute the rest of them. So the first one here is fine because it's just being held down by that finger, but the rest are being muted because my fingers are resting against the other strings. The third point, which people tend to forget the most, it seems like common sense to do that. The third one, which people forget a lot, is to press down. When you press on the string, to press down at the front of the fret. So these little metal things along the guitar are called frets, and it's when you press down on the string, it vibrates from the fret, or starts to vibrate from the fret, not from where your finger is. So here's at the front of the fret. So if I bring my finger to the back of the fret, what's going to happen here now is the string is going to vibrate from the fret, but it's also this little bit behind is going to vibrate, and when that vibrates, it's actually literally, it'll be jumping up and down on the fret, and you're going to get fret buzz. And that can be eliminated by literally pressing right down at the front of the fret, and you get a nice clean sound. Now when I'm playing chords, it looks like I'm pressing on the fret, but it's just because the flesh of the finger is hanging over. So you're pressing right down at the front of the fret, not on the fret. That's an important point as well. Okay, so there are your basics of how to play a chord. Get those three things right, along with making sure that when you press down on the string, that the string is in contact with the fretboard. That's the wood of the guitar. Otherwise you won't. If it's not pressed down, that'll be the other problem. That'll stop it buzzing. So you don't have to apply loads of pressure. As you can see, I'm just gently pressing down. A couple of other little tips would be to try and keep a straight wrist. Don't you see people like that? That's not a great technique. It puts a lot of strain on your tendons and muscles. Wrist straight, literally like that, straight into the back of the guitar. Kind of thumb over the back of it. You'll get a nice strong grip without actually having to apply too much pressure. I suppose just the last thing I'll show you in this video as well is just quite simply how most people hold a plectrum or a pick. I generally tend to hold it, and I think it's good practice to hold it at a right angle to your thumb. So your thumb's pointing up, the pick's pointing diagonally, basically because what happens there is your thumb moves in parallel then with the strings. They're kind of like they're on the same line, and the pick then is cutting across that line into the strings. So you get a nice even strum. Okay, that's it for the first video. In the second video, I'll be introducing you on how to read chord diagrams, and I'll be showing you your first couple of chords as well.